Is this an apple or an orange? Apple, right? Yeah? You sure? And what if I was going to give you a delay of game penalty if you're wrong? Are you sure then? Caps lose 3-1, including an empty net goal at the end. 3-1 to the New York Islanders on home ice. And it is fitting that it is Halloween because there was lots to be scared about tonight from a Washington Capitals perspective in this game. First period, it was actually a phenomenal start by the Washington Capitals. At the first TV timeout, they are out shooting the New York Islanders 9-0. And further to that, further to the shots on goal being 9-0, the shot attempts were also 15-0 in favor of the Caps at, like I said, the first TV timeout. So you can't really have a better start than that, but unfortunately, Islanders netminder Ilya Sorokin with some huge saves, and so it remains 0-0. Then, here's the first boo of this game for the Caps. Already without top-line center Dylan Strome due to injury. Now, second-line center Pierre-Luc Dubois, he gets injured here as well in the first period. And Dubois had already missed a bunch of games early here this season due to an upper body injury. And now here he is forced to leave this game with a lower body injury this time. Happened off of a face-off. He appeared to just the Islanders player honestly kind of cross-checked him down a little bit, and he appeared to just kind of come down really awkwardly on his leg. So he is forced to leave this game here now with a lower body injury this time, like I said, and Pierre-Luc Dubois would not be able to return to this game. Head coach Spencer Carberry said that Dubois will be re-evaluated tomorrow, but it certainly didn't look good to the naked eye. So, being without your top two centers certainly is not ideal. It's about as ideal as a game-tying, potentially World Series winning inside the park home run being called back because the ball appeared to be lodged beneath the wall. It's about as ideal as that, okay? Yeah, Toronto Blue Jays fan here. I am not having a good night here at all, folks. And the Caps, they are also still without both Rasmus Sandin and Ethen Frank as well. And so they're probably going to have to call someone else up from Hershey for tomorrow's game in Buffalo. Not great. Second period. You know what else isn't great? The Caps power play. After Tom Wilson had given his Caps the 1-0 lead here in the second period, yay Tom Wilson, on pace for 45 goals this season so far. Yay Tom Wilson, like I said, put him on Team Canada. I'm going to keep saying it. But yeah, Tom Wilson, he gives the Caps, like I said, the 1-0 lead. Assist on that goal, the primary assist to Jacob Chychrun, finds Tom Wilson for that goal there. Willie, it is his 6th goal of the season already, like I said, in just the Caps' 11th game. So yay, Tom Wilson. That was the highlight of this game for sure. But then, the Caps power play, like I said, PU, okay? Not only do they go 0 for 4 again tonight, but they as well give up a short-handed goal to JG Pageau. Now, to be fair to the Caps power play unit here, although they really do not deserve it because they still gave up this chance regardless, but this tying goal for the New York Islanders here is offside. The Caps, predictably, they issue a coach's challenge to challenge this goal because, like I said, it is offside. You can see on the replay that it is clearly offside. I am looking at it right now. You can see the white ice in between the skate and the blue line. The War Room in Toronto, however, still does not give the Washington Capitals the call on this one. Even on a black and white non-subjective call like this, they still do not give them the call on this coach's challenge. That is inexcusable from the War Room in Toronto. And the Washington Capitals are now 0 for 4 in coach's challenge scenarios this season. Last season, you might remember, they started their season 0 for 7. You can't tell me that this team is not getting screwed over in these scenarios when they have now started back-to-back seasons, a combined 0 for 11. And again, this one was not a subjective call. It was offside. It's black and white. Literally black puck with white ice in between it and the blue line is what you need in order for it to be a good goal, right? You need to see that white ice in between, like I said, the black puck and the blue line before the other guy's skate is across that blue line, right? That is what you need for it to be a good goal. That is what they clearly did not have. You could clearly see on the replay that this was offside. We are now in a situation, folks, where after the game, reporters are literally asking Spencer Carberry if he and his staff are going to have to reconsider issuing any coach's challenge in any situation because they are always on the wrong end of them. Do we understand how fucked up that is, that we should just not utilize the coach's challenge that is available to every team in this league because they're simply never going to give it to us and we are always just going to get tagged with a delay of game penalty instead? Now, is this bullshit call the reason that they lost this game today? Well, yeah, kinda. I mean, look, the offense is obviously lacking right now. There are multiple reasons for that. The power play is trash. They have some big injuries and the line combinations are all out of whack as a result. Today, I got to see Justin Sourdif centering Alex Ovechkin. Okay, I never want to see that again. But the fact is that even with all of that, that this was still a 1-1 hockey game at the end of the day without this bullshit offside goal being allowed to count. So, yeah, ultimately, it quite literally is the reason they lost. It ended up being the difference-making goal in what was otherwise a 1-1 hockey game. Islanders would get a real goal in the third period from Bo Horvath. But yeah, that goal there for Horvath, that one should have tied the game up for the Islanders, not given them the 2-1 lead. So yeah, ultimately the Islanders, like I said, they add the empty net goal at the end to get the final score of 3-1. But without that clearly offside goal being counted for them, this Bo Horvath goal in the third period would have been the one tying up the game, and we would have, like I said, had a 1-1 hockey game. So yeah, I mean, not to let the Caps off the hook here, we're certainly not going to do that because, like I said, regardless of if the goal was offside or not, the power play still did give up that grade A chance shorthanded to the New York Islanders. So that is not good any way that you slice it. The power play is terrible. It's dog shit right now, okay? There is absolutely no sugarcoating that for the Washington Capitals right now. Of course, you know, you cut them a little bit of slack because they are missing Dylan Strome and now Pierre-Luc Dubois as well, Rasmus Sandin as well. All three of these guys see power play time, but certainly Dylan Strome is kind of the straw that stirs the drink on the Washington Capitals power play now that Nicholas Backstrom is retired, right? So missing Strome for sure hurts. The power play had been getting kind of steadily better over the last several games before this injury to Dylan Strome. So we'll see what it looks like once he comes back. Hopefully that will be tomorrow in Buffalo. They really, really need him back, especially if Pierre-Luc Dubois is also going to be out. But yeah, I mean, the power play as a whole this season, not great. They've had their moments for sure. Like I said, they were starting to get a little bit better, kind of slow and steady before Strome got injured. So you hope that once he comes back, they will continue on that path of trending upwards. But there is a lot to work out right now on this power play. 0 for 4, like I said, on the night in what was a tight game. So the power play right now, it is costing them. It is costing them points in the standings. We know it. They know it. You know, Spencer Carberry, Tom Wilson, a bunch of guys commented on this after the game. It is costing them points and costing them games right now. So they need to get it figured out for sure. You know, the beat reporters, they all promise us that these guys they're like working on the power play pretty much 24/7 when they're not playing games. So we hope that all of that hard work will pay off for them because yeah, tonight they really could have used a goal from the power play. Logan Thompson, unfortunately tonight, he loses yet another game where he gives up 2 goals or fewer. Thompson, obviously, he has 5 wins already this season. He's now 5-3 on the season, but all 3 losses, he has given up 2 goals or fewer. So the Caps, they really need to find a way to generate some extra offense here using their power play. So that is going to be key moving forward. That is the biggest thing right now that I want to see them work out. So yeah, the Caps, like I said, they do have a lot of things to clean up right now. But as I mentioned, So do the officials, and so do those clowns in the war room in Toronto. This is getting unacceptable. This coach's challenge, I don't know what you want to call it, clown show, literally. You cannot be 0 for 11 starting the last 2 seasons. That is an absolute joke, especially when you talk about a call like tonight that is supposed to be black and white, or about as close to black and white as you can get with the offside calls, right? And then these goaltender interference calls, they're supposed to be pretty much 50-50, right? Like you win some, you lose some. It's kind of a toss-up, it seems, for most other teams, but for the Caps, over, like I said. So it's getting ridiculous. The officials, the war room in Toronto, like I said, they have some things to clean up as well, or some explaining to do at the very least. So yeah, we can't not talk about that as we talk about all of the things that the Caps have to clean up. We also need to start seeing a call or two going in our direction. You simply cannot have numbers like this, like I said, 0 for 11 starting the last 2 seasons. So Caps lose 3-1. Like I said, that would unfortunately be your final score. My Toronto Blue Jays tonight, absolutely brutal loss. Game 6 of the World Series. It is not a good night for me right now. Like I said, I'm a little bit cranky, as you could probably tell by my rant that I went on there about the video review room in Toronto. If any of those folks up in the war room in Toronto for the NHL, if any of those folks happen to be Blue Jays fans living up there in Toronto, then you know what? You kind of deserved what happened tonight with the Blue Jays game. But for me, I did not want to see this at all. For anyone who didn't catch it, I don't know if you guys care about the World Series or not, but yeah, Game 6 in Toronto, Blue Jays versus the LA Dodgers. My Jays, they had a runner on third and a runner on second as well, after Addison Barger absolutely smoked a ball out to the outfield off the fence. It got stuck underneath the fence there, and he had like an inside the park home run. He was already home, and they ruled that the ball was, had become stuck underneath the wall there. And so they call everybody back. They put him at second. They rule it's like a ground rule double technically. And they put the other guy back to third. So they had runners on third and on second, okay, with nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Dodgers up 3-1. Nobody out. Runners on third base and on second base, and they do not get anything out of it. My God, man, what an evening. And yeah, the Caps did absolutely nothing to quell my disappointment and my anger there as I watched the Caps game after the baseball game. I didn't want to spoil the baseball game by accidentally, seeing a score across the ticker at the bottom or anything like that. Or, God forbid, Joby or Locker mention, something that's happening over in the baseball game. So I admit, I watched the baseball game first tonight. It is the World Series versus Game 11 of the regular season for the Washington Capitals. And yeah, I watched the Caps game after, and they did absolutely nothing to make me feel better tonight. So we will hope that it turns around, folks, in Buffalo tomorrow. We will hope that Dylan Strome can play. We will hope that Pierre-Luc Dubois is magically fine. We hope to see Rasmus Sandin soon as well. We know that we won't really be seeing Ethen Frank for the next few games at least, as he has been placed on injured reserve. So injuries starting to pile up here a bit for the Caps early here in the season. So we hope, like I said, that we can get at least a couple of those guys back soon. Certainly hope that Dylan Strome can play tomorrow if Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to be out. But I'm still crossing my fingers that Dubois will somehow come through that being just fine. Although, like I said, I don't think it's likely from what that looked like. But we will see. We will hope for the best, cross our fingers, like I said. And yeah, babes, thank you all so much for being here. It's really great to have this community of Capitals fans to talk Capitals hockey with, whether it's good or whether it's bad, right? We can all kind of vent our frustrations here. You guys leave me your comments down below. Let me know what you thought of this game, of the situation that the Caps find themselves in here with these injuries early on here this season. Just let me know what you think in the comments down below. And like I said, thank you all so much for watching. Really, really appreciate all of you guys taking the time. We will there's nothing much that we can do, right? We just hope for a better result tomorrow. I will unfortunately be having to do the same thing tomorrow now, watching a Game 7 baseball game beforehand and then watching the Caps game afterwards. So the video again might come to you a little bit late at night, but I will get it done for you guys. So thank you all. Like I said, again, so much for being here. Love having you guys here. And until next time, babes, And as always, let's go, Caps.